So today I have Mollie Joy Rushmeyer with me, and she
Hi.
is my she's my second author interview for this series. And I'm so excited to have her here. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mollie. Mollie Joy Rushmeyer writes contemporary fiction with a heart for history. So what does that mean? It means she loves to write inspirational fiction in contemporary settings with fascinating historical elements, people, objects, and stories woven throughout. So welcome, Mollie. Thanks for doing this with me this
Hi.
morning.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This is so fun.
This is fun. So I want to start by asking you how long you've been writing and how exactly did you find yourself writing this particular genre? Because you sort of have dug a little niche for yourself. It's really interesting. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I usually say like I've been writing for 10 plus years, but really I was writing little stories and poems even as a child. But I would say that I got more serious about it once my oldest daughter was born. So she's almost 15. So really that 10-year mark, I need to move that to about 15 years of writing and learning. And I always tell the story about when she was a baby and I was just, really starting this process. I got really good at nursing with one arm and writing with the other, either with a pen or my husband had actually bought me my very first laptop, which that makes me sound really old that I didn't even have a laptop 15 years ago. But, once I got more serious, he was like, yeah, let's get you a laptop. And so I was typing or writing one-handed back then. And I just fell in love with telling stories. And the way that I sort of gravitated into where I'm at right now, which is that contemporary, but with sort of a historical thread, is just really my love of history. I love classic books. I'm actually rereading Anne of Green Gables right now, and Anne of Avonlea. And so, those kinds of stories, just I've always loved them. They've stuck with me, and they're part of just what I love about storytelling, that you just fall in love with these characters and you think of them even after that last page. They're sort of like real people to you. And the historical aspect, like I said, I wanted to incorporate that into sort of a contemporary setting because I think we do have so much to learn from history. And I guess I didn't have the pull initially. Maybe someday I will to write a straight up historical fiction. But I just knew that I wanted to weave in that love of history that I have into these more contemporary settings.
Well, you've done a wonderful job. I've been fortunate enough to read both of your novels now,
Yes.
and I write historical romance. So I love history, and I love how you've been able to bring that historical element to the contemporary setting. So it's been a lot of
Yay.
fun, and you have done a great job. So you, like I mentioned, you have one book that's out, and now
Mhm.
one that's going to be released soon. So would you tell
Yes.
us a little bit about it?
Yes. The one that's coming out. Is
Yep,
that
you could
okay?
tell us a little bit about both if you'd like.
Okay. So my first book, my debut, was The Bookshop of Secrets, and it's about a woman who travels to the northern part of Minnesota, Lake Superior, to find these antiquarian first edition classic books that her mother has left for her. But when she gets there, she realizes in this overgrown sort of used bookstore that she's going to look for them, that the owner has dementia. He doesn't know if they're there or not. And so there is sort of a mystery element. They're trying to look for these books, but there's also sort of a family secret involved that they're trying to figure out, and a romance as well, because the grandson of the owner of this bookshop, he is going to help her through this journey, and they look for these books together. And so there's that romantic element as well. And so that's my first book. And then I have another one coming out, like you mentioned, Heather. Um, it's called The Lost Manuscript, and that's coming out August 29th. And that one, I like to call it sort of a second chance, sort of married romance, because at the beginning of the book, The main characters are an estranged married couple, and they have sort of some secrets and some things that they've been hiding from each other, and they've had this falling out. But they're going to come together in Alnwick, England, which is in northern England. They go on this study abroad trip, and they're going to come together to search for this lost illuminated medieval manuscript. And as much as they're looking for the manuscript itself, they're really on this journey to figure out what happened to her grandmother, because her grandmother has gone missing looking for this very same manuscript. And so it's kind of their story of coming back together, but also, looking for this manuscript and this mystery about her grandmother sort of threaded all together.
Yeah, I love all the different layers you have in the sub storylines that you have going. There's
Thank you. That one was a tough one to write, I'm going to be honest. Just putting all of those pieces and layers together and weaving them throughout took lots of editing.
I'm sure, but you did such a wonderful job with it. You should be very proud.
Thank you.
And you actually went to Alnwick, correct? To
I
do a little.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one was definitely very close to my heart because I actually went on the study abroad program that I talk about in this book. It's centered out of a university here where I live in central Minnesota. And they still do that program every year. And it was just such a wonderful experience. It was a life-changing experience for me. I spent a summer there as a young woman, and I was actually married at the time, but my husband was like, well, this is once in a lifetime, go do it. And so, but I always said like, oh, I want to bring you there. And, if we have kids some days, I really want to bring them there and show them where I stayed at this castle. And just this last May here, just a few months ago, we were finally able to make that dream come true. And we all went to Alnwick, and we went all over England and Scotland as well. But I was able to show them like the exact room I stayed in at the castle and all of those things, and take tons and tons of pictures, of course, to inspire this book. And it was just a really great experience. It was a trip that we had actually waited because in 2020, we had all of that planned and booked and all of that. And of course, we know what happened in 2020. So it was definitely a long time coming.
Definitely, but worth the wait for
yes.
beautiful.
Yes,
all right, well,
absolutely.
we're going to go into a very fun part of our little interview here, and I'm calling it a lightning round. It doesn't have to be super fast, but I have short little questions that I'd love to learn more about you, and I'm sure our viewers and readers want to learn more about you, not just your book, but you as a person. So
sure, let's do it.
All right, favorite genre to read?
Romance, either contemporary or historical.
All right, favorite TV show?
Great British Baking Show. What was that?
I'm sorry, favorite pastime?
Favorite pastime? Well, if I can only pick one, I'm going to say reading.
All right, and when you write, are you a plotter or a pantser? Do you plot or you go fly by the seat of your pants?
Yeah, I definitely have to plot. I wish I could pants, but I can't.
If you could spend one day as a character in any book, who would it be?
I would definitely say Anne Shirley, like Anne of Green Gables.
Very good choice. Favorite toy as a child?
So I was kind of a weird child. I didn't like play with a ton of toys. So I'm gonna have to say my dress up clothes because I played pretend and thought up elaborate stories to go with it. So yeah, it was all about the dress up clothes.
All right. Serious question. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
We'll still be friends, but we'll talk later.
Okay. Good.
Your least favorite genre to read?
I would say anything horror, too scary, that kind of thing.
Favorite season?
Fall.
E-readers or physical books?
Physical book, definitely.
Last book you read?
Okay, so it's been a busy summer. I was like, oh man, what was the last book I read? I think it was Liz Curtis Haig's Mine is the Night, and because I wanted to read something set in Scotland, and so I found that book. So it's kind of an older book, but it was really good.
Good. Cooking at home or eating out?
Because we've had such a busy summer, I'm gonna probably say eating something someone else made for me. So,
I like
probably during the winter though, I do like to cook and I like making cozy foods.
I like that. All right, what was your first concert?
Oh,
Oh,
I
can you
think I
hear me?
lost video for a second there. Okay, you're back.
All right, your first concert.
Okay, so I had to think about this one. And it was Diamondback of like all of the bands in the entire world. I'm actually not a huge country music fan, but a friend really wanted to go. So that was my first concert.
All right, favorite restaurant?
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. All right, and the last book that made you cry.
So I had talked to Heather about this a little bit, and I don't cry very often when I'm reading. So I told her, like, I think I'm actually going to have to say the Bookshop of Secrets when I was writing it. I'm going to have to say, like, it was writing some of the scenes with Ulysses, who is the elderly character in that book who has dementia. And some of it was because I actually lost my grandpa around that time. And so this character was actually based on him. And so it was hard sometimes to write those emotional scenes with him. So I hope that's okay that I say my own book, but I'm
Absolutely.
gonna go with that.
I think it just shows how close you were to your characters and how much thought and effort you've put into them. So I think that's pretty amazing. Well, that is the end of our lightning round. You did great, and I realize we
Yay,
have a lot.
I did it. It's like, can I think quickly? I don't know.
You did great. So, as part of our little collaboration, I've made some polymer clay jewelry, and we're going to have a giveaway between the two of us. And our readers and viewers, all they have to do is go to our individual author pages, and we'll have links in this newsletter and with this video so they can find us. They just have to like both of our author pages and comment done, and then that will enter them to win. So I want to show you the piece that I created. I have a set of earrings based off your book cover from your new book because it's just so beautiful. So here are the earrings, and it's hard to tell on
You
video,
want me
but
to
it's just,
hold up my book cover so people can
hey,
see?
thank you. That would be great because I don't have hardback.
So this is a proof one, so just ignore the proof copy thing there in the corner. But
So
as
beautiful.
you can see, it's got that deep blue right in the middle. So yeah, you did awesome. And those earrings are gonna look great.
So our viewers will have the option of a set of earrings, or this book is going to become a pendant. So they'll have their choice because I know not everyone has their ears pierced. But lovely job with the book. Beautiful book cover. Mollie Joy Rushmeyer, it's been a pleasure having you with us today.
Well, thank you. I had so much fun. Thank you for having me.
So if people want to learn more about you, where can they go?
So I do have a website. It's Mollie, Mollie, J Rushmeyer, spelled just like it sounds, Rushmeyer.com. I'm also on Facebook. Just look me up, Mollie Rushmeyer. I'm on Instagram as well. So those are kind of my two major outlets for social media. So yeah, come find me.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Bye.